Good morning and welcome to Apex Online Racing. We're here today for round number 4 of the Oceania League here on PS4. We're at the Bahrain International Circuit for what is going to be a fantastic race, a personal favourite track of mine, and well, I think for many of the drivers as well. This is a much-loved circuit for plenty of overtaking, almost definite dry conditions here, and yeah, very difficult technical track. It's hard on the brakes, it's tough on fuel. It's very, very hard on the tyre wear, and that will be a big talking point and a big focus for the drivers going into this race. So yeah, very, very interesting circuit, and one that we always love to come to. It's been on the calendar since 2004, and ever since it went under the lights at night, it has put up spectacular race after spectacular race. Now, unfortunately, we were unable to provide coverage of the last event in Azerbaijan. Unfortunately, I was away for that race, so I'll just give you a quick rundown of what happened in that race and a little update on what the standings are looking like right now. So Dubsy, he won the race in Azerbaijan, followed by Maznat, and then Frio was the third man on the podium. Very good results from them. Dubsy winning it by a long way. I believe it was a wet dry race, so yeah, tricky conditions all around, and Dubsy nailed it and won that race by a large margin. His second win of the season, and that propelled him back into the lead of the Drivers' Championship with 62 points. Maznat behind him on 61. Expect a close battle between them today as well. Then in third place we've got LJB with 43 points, followed by Contrast with 31. And then we've got a good battle between Frio and Nemo in 5th and 6th, 25 and 22 points respectively for them. And then a pretty close battle from 7th downwards. Harry Tomato with 14, then Grunning Tortoise with 11, Crema with 10, Dynamite with 10 as well, though he is missing this race today. Rumble, who came into this league in China, he's got himself up as high as 11th with 8 points. Banana Josh with 4, Infinite March with 1, Wayne with 1, and then we got a number of drivers yet to find their first point of the season. Those drivers are Ente, who was serving a race ban in Baku. He's back here today racing, that's good to see. Debros, who's away today, also Rizek, Asaplish, Jordan and Azatak, all to find their first points. We do have a couple of, I do have one new driver on the grid today. I'm Chucky, who's come in as a reserve driver. He's filling in for some of the guys that are missing out on the race. Just 17 runners on circuit today. Plenty of people busy with exams and just that kind of time of year, lots of drivers away. And then in terms of the Constructors' Championship, it's Renault, so that is Maznat and Contrast. They're leading the way with 92 points. Ferrari with 72 behind them, and Red Bull in third. Those guys really showing, well, they've got some solid driver pairings there and can take that lead straight away. Alright, so into qualifying in Bahrain, it's a difficult circuit to hook up, and lots of difficult braking points as we're watching LGB on his outlap here, particularly coming around into this portion of the circuit, the hairpin down here. This is turn number 8. Once again, it's hard to find a braking point into that circuit. There's no markers there. It's at times a bit of guesswork, and then turns 9 and 10, this extremely difficult double left-hander, and it's downhill, it's constantly tightening up. It's so easy to lock that front left tire through there. Every driver that's driven this track without ABS knows what a difficult corner it can be, and then making your way back up the hill. Let's see if we got anybody about to start a lap. Rumble, who had a good showing in China, unfortunately DNF'd from the Baku race, but he showed some great pace, and in particular showed he was able to handle a car with a very low downforce setup, and that's something the drivers will be looking at today. You've got 3 fairly long straights in a row as he's flying down into turn 1, but overtaking definitely is possible around here. It's as circuits go, it's one of the easiest tracks to overtake at on the entire calendar. You've got a fantastic opportunity down into turn 1. So drivers they've got a compromise between the straight line speed, able to overtake and defend down that huge straight, but at the same time, once you get into this difficult intersection, having a bit of downforce on the car can really help with the lap time through that middle sector. So for the drivers, it really is a compromising act, and they've got to find something that is fast enough on the straights but is drivable through the middle sector while still maintaining the tires throughout the race. The drivers should be looking at a one-stop strategy here, but it's very difficult. The super soft medium is possible, but the drivers will be right on the edge of the tire wear, and there will be a great risk of some punctures towards the end of the race, looking to go till about lap 9 or 10 on these super softs. But what that does mean is if you're going to try that one-stop strategy, which is a little quicker than the two-stop, if you're going to try it, you can only really afford to do one run in qualifying. Because if you do more than that, then you're going to be at serious risk of just pushing the tires too much, getting too much wear on them, and then being unable to make it to the end of the race on that set of tires. Make it to the end of the race on that one stop. We will probably see one or two people bail off onto a two stop today. LJB crossing line with a 29.3, not quite able to overhaul Rumble. Well, so we got on a lap Dubsy here in the Ferrari coming around the penultimate corner, another very difficult blind corner for the drivers there. It's so hard to get that hooked up. He just misses the apex slightly of the final corner. Maznat has gone provisional pole with a good lap, and Dubsy is bailed out of it. He's had enough of that. Let's hop on board with the Williams of Azatak. He's coming around into this penultimate corner again. It's hard to find a braking point. He does find the apex, but you have to say it's a cautious attack from him, and not quite carrying the maximum speed through the corner that is possible through there. Then you're looking for about that 100-meter board coming down into the final corner, clipping the apex nicely. We'll see what Azatak is able to do crossing the line. He goes 12th place. It's a 33.2. He'll be looking to improve on that, as we've had another driver move up the board. That was Entei. So he's moved himself up to third with a 29.0. Expected pole time, we're looking at maybe a low 28. Ooh, Rizek finding the curb there, and he's had some troubles with that. And yeah, you got to try and avoid that inside curb at turn 4. It will really spin you around. Anybody else on a lap? Chucky's going for a second one, so that would indicate to me that he might be aiming more towards a two-stop strategy rather than the one. If he's if he's going for the second lap of qualifying, really lighting up the rear tires through there as the sun starts to come down, and yeah, it's such a hard circuit on the rear tires. The traction is very difficult, and those will be the tires that wear the most in the race, and expect to see drivers power sliding around in this sort of final part of the track on their qualifying laps, just as the tires start to overheat and give up what grip that they have. As Chucky crosses the line, it's a slight improvement up to P6 at 29.3. He's only just behind the likes of LJB and Rumble. Entei as well has he's happy with the one lap for now, but it's Maznat that's sitting on provisional pole, Contrast in second at the moment. Provisionally a Renault 1-2. Dubsy unable to get a lap time in at the moment, and well, that'll put him under pressure, seeing his main championship rival Maznat just 1 point behind while he's on pole at the moment. Perfect place to be. Did have Rizek looking for a possible second lap there, but he's missed the braking point into turn 1 and gone very, very wide, so that will be that lap pretty much over. Now thinking about strategy for those guys who are outside of the top 10, those guys will probably look to do a one-stop from the soft to mediums. If you're using those tires, it should be pretty comfortable in terms of the tire wear. You'll make it to the end, especially as well if you're outside the top 10, you'll be on those fresh tires, and we'll currently get the tires up. So yeah, we got a couple guys here. Crema and Asaplish have gone for the soft compound tire, going for the strategic option, and for them, you know, it's really going to be a case of you know, trying to get that one stop on, and possibly aiming to just start 11th or 12th. Chucky's gone for yet another lap, and he's got himself up to 5th place, but he's going to be really struggling in terms of tire wear now. I think that's the third lap that he's done on these tires. So yeah, that's a bit of a strange call from the Williams driver. He'll come back into the pits now, and if he's able to get back around, he should be able to do a final run. But we see most of the guys at the moment just kind of avoiding the track, waiting for the last minute or two as Rizek's coming into the pits as well. But yeah, I mean, these guys looking for the last moments of the session. Let that track evolve, find the find a spot in that final minute or two to cross the line and start your lap, and that will give you the best track conditions. The circuit cooling down slightly as well as the session goes on, and that sun continues to drop. As a push out here again on the soft compound tires. Now this is interesting. He's already done one lap on them, so he's going to try another lap. That's an interesting decision. I would expect to see maybe a different set of tires. He's already scrubbed these, but clearly, going straight for that one-stop strategy. He feels like he needs to use the soft compound tires, and he's dedicated to that. So fair play. A couple guys as well further up coming out of the pits to start their outlaps. Entei as well, he's at a P3 at 29.0. We'll see how much he's able to improve. He's not too far off of Contrast at the moment. He could be looking at a start on the front couple of rows here. I expect Dubsy to move a long way up the field, but Entei could be looking at a very good position off the grid, and it's always tied into turn one, and there's always an opportunity to get an overtake or two done there off the opening lap. So got Asseplish in the Sauber. He's about to start another run on these soft compound tires. Maybe felt that opening lap was not quite what he wanted. So we'll take you on board a lap of the Bahrain International Circuit down towards turn 1 at 320 kilometers an hour. Find that braking point about 115 meters into there. Try to just avoid that curb on the inside. He's run a little deep and in fact had a big moment of oversteer. It's so hard to keep the rear end in check through there. And Asseplish, he's realized instantly that he's made a fairly major mistake there, and he's backed out of it, recognizing that lap wasn't going exactly how he wanted. Let's see what Entei can do through turns 2 and 3. That's more like it. Hard on the power, keep the car steady. It's so easy for the rear end to kick out there, but he's managed it well, looking for just after the 100-meter board into turn 4. Down to third gear. There's a difference in choice between some of the drivers, some using third, some using fourth. Now into the fast right-left section, the rear end of the car stepping out. Oh, he's hit the curb too hard, and Entei has lost the rear of the car, spinning all the way across. Very, very lucky not to take out the Sauber there. He's taking a moment to recompose before moving possibly back towards the circuit, but I don't think he's going to have the time or the tire wear to get another lap in. Now we've got Contrast in the Renault. Yeah, Entei, he's had enough. He's retired. He's realized he's not going to have enough time to get another lap in. So Contrast, he's moving up towards turn 9 and 10. Taking a slightly tighter line in there than we've seen from one or two other drivers. Second gear, get the car turned in, and then hard on the power along this back straight, the second DRS zone on the circuit. Not much of an overtaking point, but it does keep you in touch with the cars in front in the race. Avoiding that outside curb, taking a lot of curb on the inside, and that's going to cause him trouble exiting the corner. Had to just delay getting on the throttle there slightly. He took so much curb on the inside, it kind of spat him out towards the outside of the circuit. Very wide and late apex there from Contrast, going down towards the final corner now. See if he's able to clip the apex. You can make or break a lap here, or you can just before 100 meters. He does find the apex. Maybe a little cautious on the throttle, but it looks solid from Contrast. He may have time for a second lap as well. He will. He improves to a 28.5, but it's not quite enough to overhaul his teammate Maznat. He's going at a moment. Let's keep an eye on Dubsy. We're about to see he's further back in the lap, so we'll hop on with Maznat for now. See if he is able to improve. I do know this is a pretty strong circuit for Maznat in general, so he will have been looking forward to this race, finding the apex of that penultimate corner, not quite using all of the circuit on the exit, as Stylin has gone up to second place. That's a fantastic lap from him, 28.4, puts himself between the Renaults. Is Maznat able to improve the rear end, just stepping out a little bit through the final corner as Maznat comes across the line? What's it gonna be? It's a 28.1. He's 0.3 ahead of the rest of the field. Let's see what Dubsy can do in his Ferrari. Come down towards the final corner now. Is he going to be able to overhaul the Renault driver? Actually even using third there and then short shifting quite a lot through the traction zone, finding it tough there. Dubsy, oh, it's incredibly close. Second place. He's 4 thousandths behind Maznat, but not quite enough to get the pole position. Great laps from both of them, but Maznat, he's 1 point behind in the championship. Well, he's just got a kind of point up on Dubsy there, not in the literal sense, but in the psychological one, just coming out ahead of Dubsy in this qualifying session. Incredibly close between these two drivers, and that sets us up for a beautiful race. Now we got Contrast just making his way back to the pits nice and slow. He's trying to look after his tires and ensure that he doesn't get too much wear on them. You do get slightly less by coming into the pits and retiring than if you were just to press the retire option there. But yeah, solid qualifying from Contrast as well. 4th place. I don't think he'll be too unhappy with that. It gives him a decent slot off of the grid. Gotta say, the main man to miss out in qualifying here today is Entei, struggling, messing up that final lap. He was looking pretty strong earlier in the session, but not quite able to hook it together. Let's go down the qualifying order. Maznat, pole position for Renault, really excellent lap there, just ahead of Dubsy, 4 thousandths of a second, barely anything. Then Stylen in third, with Contrast alongside, LGB in 5th, Tortoise in 6th, Entei 7th, Harry Tomato in 8th, Rumble 9th, Chucky in 10th, then Crema on the soft compound tyres in 11th, and Asaplish, Rizek, Azatak, Jordan, and then a couple other guys that I just missed out on in the final couple of positions. Frio in 17th, and then the second Haas, who may well have lagged out of the session, filling up the back of the grid there. So the drivers, they'll be organizing their setups, maybe lowering the front wing slightly. You can, generally want your car to understeer a little more in the race here than oversteer, just to try and keep the rear tires in check. They'll be adding quite a lot of fuel as well. This is a fairly fuel-hungry circuit, and possibly bumping that brake pressure forward, maybe lowering the diff. All those things you do between qualifying and the race to just try and extend the life of those tires and make the car more comfortable as the tires wear, because you really don't want to be in a situation of this circuit where the rear end starts to step out early on, and then that will just get worse and worse as the stint goes on, and you'll end up having to pit earlier than you would want. It's a fairly long run down into turn 1 at this circuit. It's a heavy braking zone as we ready ourselves for 5 lights. It's round 4 of the Oceania League on PS4 in Bahrain. And it is lights out. It's a fantastic start from Maznat. Dubsy away well as well off of the front row of the grid. The Ferrari and the Renault side by side down into turn 1. Dubsy trying to make the move to get the lead back, and Maznat holding it all the way around the outside. Dubsy just pinched slightly there, and Maznat does hold on to the lead, but Dubsy with a phenomenal exit out of turn 2 and 3, and he's coming back down towards Maznat down into turn 4. He's going to be later on the brakes, try and hold it on the inside. Maznat trying to go all the way around the outside. Beautiful battling between these two. There's a bit of contact, bit of wheel banging. Maznat just slightly ahead as they come down into the S section, but Dubsy forces his way through. Oh wait, they're still side by side, but yeah, Dubsy, and now Maznat has caught up with the Toro Rosso of Stylen, just getting the nose in there. I believe there's slight contact maybe between Maznat and Dubsy, and that sent him round. We got, I think, possible wing damage maybe for Maznat as well. That car looking very unstable. And unfortunately for Maznat, he's gone from 1st place to 16th on the opening lap. Dubsy storming away. Tortoise on the back of LJB now as well. And I'm sure we'll hear something about that later on, possibly in the stewards, because, yeah, that's a clash between the two championship protagonists right there. But Dubsy, he is out in the lead now. Hard-fought battling, but I don't really think he did much wrong there. Tortoise right on the back of LGB now as well. Look at this, just 3/10. You know, who needs DRS around here? He's right on the back of him. A hard battling behind between Contrast Entei and Tomato as well. As Tortoise, oh, he has a big moment of oversteer, and that possibly will cost him an opportunity. As Contrast dives into the pits, he's got significant front wing damage, so he has to make that early pit stop already. So Tomato and Entei kind of let through there. That'll be why they were all over the back of Contrast. But yeah, a little further down as well, we've got Chucky looking at the back of Asaplish, not quite close enough to make that move. We will get the tyre data up here for you. Crema and Asaplish, fantastic starts for them on the soft compound tyres. Chucky having a look down into turn 4. He's got better traction on these fresh, well, softer tyres. I think they're the same age, but yeah, softer tyres for Chucky, trying to hold it around the outside of turn 7. That's always going to be difficult. Bit of wheel banging between them, but he does end up ahead. No damage there for any of these guys either, so yeah, very good move from Chucky. He's up into 7th place now. Good move from him. Crucial for him to get ahead of these soft compound runners before he starts losing out too much in terms of time to the guys ahead. Tomato is just looking at the back of Entei here. These guys have got a bit of a gap up to Tortoise ahead, who's looking pretty racy, you have to say, at the moment. He's just 4/10 behind LJB. And yeah, it's going to be hard to overtake on this first lap or two. It is possible, but it's not exactly too easy. But once that DRS comes open, once that's available, it should be much, much easier. Dubsy setting the tone with a 32-1. It's a good second lap from him, really putting these super soft tires through their paces. Tortoise not quite close enough, but Tomato looks to have some great straight line speed. Having a look at Entei, but thinks better of it. Not quite close enough to get the move done. Entei was quite late on the brakes down into turn 1, and I guess a phenomenal exit through 2 and 3. Really brilliant traction from the Force India there. He leads Harry Tomato by just half a second. He's starting to fall back from Tortoise and LJB though. The front 3 setting a fantastic pace here. And Entei's going to have to put the work in if he wants to call up that 3-second gap. They lost a fair amount of time behind Contrast with his broken wing as well. Contrast, he's boxed and gone for the medium compound tyres. Rizek making the move on Asaplish. Actually, there's been an incident there. Rizek's lost out. Went way too deep. He might have lost the rear of the car coming through the fast S section, and that caused him to temporarily go ahead. Although we've had a lock-up here for Asaplish. That's going to cost him ground. And now Maznat's up through Rumble as well, coming through in the Ferrari, and he's going to get the move done down towards, yeah, he does get the move done down into 11, so a couple of positions lost there for Asaplish. He was up in 8th, he's now down to 12th. Difficult lap for him, and we've got Maznat in the Renault crawling over the back of the second Sauber. As Maznat, he really needs to get a move on if he wants to get some decent points here. A proper recovery drive from him today now. As we'll just take a look at Harry Tomato. He's quite close to the back of Entei. He's got the DRS open now, and he's much closer going into turn 1 this time. Entei looks as if he wants to defend the inside, but Harry Tomato goes even further inside. Oh, there's contact between the two cars there. Tomato just getting a little bit too deep through turn 1. Couldn't get the car slowed down well enough. I don't think Entei lost any front wing from that, but I don't think he's going to be very happy about it. There's a bit of a bold and aggressive move from Tomato there, perhaps a little bit too much so. But it is the move done for Tomato. He's now up past Entei, who seems to be struggling a little bit compared to the qualifying pace. He might have some damage on the front of that car, I'm not sure, because they're now about 4.5 seconds behind P3. Got to say Tortoise as well. He had some issues in terms of the connection in China, and thought that he might have to drop out of the league. But fortunately, he was able to change his connection, get it wired internet. He's showing it was well worth it here, sitting in 3rd place with some good paces. Chucky's now trying to make the move up the inside on Crema, softer tyres, and he does get that position. Oh, very close between the two of them. Crema all over the back of him, trying to fight it back, but doesn't quite have the grip. He's actually missing a significant amount of front wing. Now, I don't know if that was just then the incident. Perhaps there was some contact between the two of them, but yeah, Crema really struggling now with that wing damage. Maznat up behind Frio. He's found himself up into 9th place, and he's got to get the move done as soon as he possibly can. He's probably too far back at the moment. You really want to be within sort of 3 to 4 tenths at the start of the straight if you want to get the move done, unless you have to be very late on the brakes. Is Maznat going to try something very bold? No, he doesn't. He thinks better of it. Oh, actually, Frio has gone deep. He's run deep in the corner. That allows Maznat to just poke his nose up the inside, and now he's had a better exit. He's right on the back of Frio, coming down towards turn 4, looking for this braking point just after 100 meters. Once again able to get the car slowed down slightly better, but just pinching himself on the apex there in 3rd gear, and Frio holds it around the outside and maintains P8 for now. But Maznat looking very racy at the moment. Gonna have to go up to Grunting Tortoise because he's on the back of LGB. LGB made some kind of mistake and lost a couple of seconds to Dubsy, who's really well, once again pulling the sort of Dubsy special and storming off out front. But Grunting Tortoise showing he's got some great pace, and as this stint goes on, he's getting closer and closer to the back of LJB. A lot of understeer though there. I think actually he's missing some front wing as well. A lot of drivers missing end plates off the off portions of the front wing, so some incidents happening here that we maybe missed out on. This could have been in the first couple of corners. Tomato might have an opportunity here. He's understeering a lot through the second half of these corners though. He's gonna eye up LGB down towards turn 1. He is closing with the DRS. He's very quick in a straight line as well. Tortoise is going to try it, just showing LGB that he's there, but he runs too deep and ends up having to give that attempt up as LGB holds on pretty comfortably. But he's almost 4 seconds now behind Dubsy, who's really just storming off out front, looking to be in a very good position. Entei, he was passed by Tomato, but he's holding on at the moment. And we got Frio and Maznat side by side through turn 2 and 3 as well, as Maznat looking to just get ahead now. Frio's going to try and come back at him down into turn 4. He is later on the brakes. Oh, there's contact between the two cars as well. Frio just running a little bit too deep, and he has got himself up ahead, but I don't know about that one. He seemed to run very deep, and Maznat losing out there. Once again, somehow seems to have his wing intact. He's been involved in a couple of shunts today already. I'm not quite sure how he's managed to keep that front wing whole, but it does appear to be the case. But he needs to make quick work of Frio soon. They're about to come up onto the back of Crema, and they need to get past him quickly because he's really struggling with very, very little front wing at the moment. Maznat just needs to be patient and set this up for the main straight and make sure he's close enough. Once again, you can see just understeering in the dirty air there. It's so difficult through these fast couple of corners to stay with the car ahead, because the dirty air, you have very little front grip. The front end of the car really just washes out, and see Maznat again struggling to get the nose into the penultimate corner, and really just got to brake a little bit earlier and turn in significantly earlier if you want to hit the apex. Once again, Maznat having difficulties getting close enough. In fact, Frio is the one that may be close enough to make some kind of move on Crema. Probably won't be able to get it done into the braking zone, but with the significant wing damage that Crema has, it's really only a matter of time. He had a bit of a strategy masterclass, getting himself in P11 for the soft compound tires. Looked to be in a fantastic position, but then the wing damage has really hampered what would be pretty much a perfect tire strategy around here, as Frio closing up onto the back of him now, just bringing Maznat along with him as Contrast is up past Azatak. He's making some good ground on the medium compound of tires, as we will get the number of stops. So Contrast, Rummel and Rizek are the ones that have had to pit. No one else having to pit at the moment. For a 2-stop, we should expect to see them in fairly soon. Maznat running wide, just really struggling in the dirty air behind Frio, but yeah, for a 2-stop, we should see the super soft runners in fairly soon. But if they're going to try the 1-stop onto the medium compound tires, it is difficult, possible, but difficult. They're going to have to run until at the very earliest lap 9, probably lap 10 for those guys. The best lap to pit on really is lap 10, because otherwise you're going to be struggling towards the end of the race on the mediums. But yeah, if you're really struggling on these super softs, you might just have to go lap 9 and hope that you can make it the 20 laps on the mediums, as Frio now is closing right up to the back of Crema. He needs to get this move done and try and put more of a gap between himself and Maznat. And he is right up in that slipstream, and he's got the DRS wide open now as well, down towards turn 1, and there's not really much Crema should, could do or should do really in this instance. Should recognise that Frio was much quicker on the softer tyres and with a full front wing, and he pretty much lets him go. Not really too interested in him. Perhaps he's looking to come back at him down towards turn 4. Crema, showing Frio that he's not going to give this up easily. Very late on the brakes, but he's going to have to concede that position. I think Frio's got up and ahead, and now he's going to have to worry about Maznat behind him. You can really see visibly there that Crema is struggling through the fast corners with that wing damage, and Maznat starting to crawl all over the back of him now as coming down into this extremely tricky turn 9 and 10. It's so hard to get the car slowed down without locking up there, and it's one of those corners where you feel like you have to be very conservative going in to make sure you don't lock up, but then if you are, you feel like you're losing time. Maznat almost running into the back of Crema there, perhaps taken off guard by how early he's braking with the damage, but he's a couple tenths behind now, and he's going to look for a move down at the penultimate corner. No, he's quite patient about it. He's possibly going to have a move down into the final corner though. We'll see if he goes for it right now or if he waits. A couple guys in the pits already. Dubsy, he's going for a two-stop strategy. He's on the soft tires. Sir LJB's gone mediums. It's fairly early on for the one stop, but I think he might try it with that tire choice. Maznat right on the back of Crema here. He's got to get the move done on this lap. Crema going defensive on Maznat. He's going to have to hold it all the way around the outside down into turn 1 as Crema is going to brake as late as he possibly can. It's not quite late enough. Maznat well ahead by the apex of turn 1, and he is up and through into P3 now as Dubsy has actually managed to come out of the pits ahead of Frio and Maznat. That shows how much time these guys have lost out, especially Maznat. Dubsy on that two-stop strategy. Sir LGB, he's going to try possibly to do 21 laps on these medium tires. It's a very long way to go. We'll see if he's able to do it. But yeah, Dubsy looking in a phenomenal position at the moment. He's out front. He's already made his pit stop, and the closest person to him in the first in LGB is got 3 cars between them. So yeah, very good position for Dubsy at the moment. We have had a retirement. Jordan has found the wall on the inside of turn, I think that's turn 11. It's if you get out on the outside curb there, it's very easy to lose the rear of the car and end up in that wall. I've done it myself more than once. So unfortunately, Jordan unable to make it to the end of this race. A DNF for him. Ente in 7th place now, and he's one of these guys that's made the pit stop already. And on the soft compound tires, the driver's generally aiming towards this two-stop strategy at the moment. But yeah, Ente's right on the back of Harry Tomato, who's just outside of the DRS range of LJB, who's now up and past Crema, who's come into the pits. He's had enough of that front wing. Maznat boxes as well. I think he's trying the one stop, and Ente not quite able to get anything done on the brakes down into turn 1, as he's he's just not quite got close enough to Tomato, not quite got the straight line speed either. We'll keep an eye on this, because Ente was looking pretty quick in that first run in qualifying. He just wasn't able to put it together in the second run. He is looking a little quicker than Tomato at the moment, though, getting himself within a couple of tenths. And after Tomato, it's a 1.5 seconds up the road to LGB. So Ente in quite a good position here. He's looking pretty strong, and in terms of the stops, Frio ahead of them. He still needs to make his pit stop. He's going all the way to lap 10 on those super softs. So he'll be looking definitely for a one stop as well onto the medium compound tires. That's what we think Maznat is doing, and possibly LGB as well, even though he picked quite early.
Got to say though, despite having to do one more stop than perhaps three of the guys behind, Dubsy in a very good position at the moment out front, a 31.4 on the soft compound tyres. That's a great lap time from him, and expect to see those kind of low mid 31s from him for several laps on these soft tyres. They do fall off a little bit as the stint goes on, but not quite as much as you would expect. The mediums actually get slightly faster as the stint continues. Entei now within 3/10. Still not quite close enough to Harry Tomato to get the move into turn one. He looks slightly quicker, but not quite quick enough to force the move just yet. He's been getting great exits through 2 and 3 all race, though. Seems to have phenomenal traction in the Force India, and he is going to show the nose down into turn 4, but not quite close enough. Running wide through turn 4, though, is Harry Tomato, but Entei, is he going to show the nose into 5 and 6? No, he doesn't. He thinks better of it and gives the corner to the Mercedes driver, as he's just had brilliant traction out of those corners all race long. It was noticeable early on. He's carried it on into the second stint, and I think if he's going to get the move done on Tomato, it looks like it may well be down into turn 4. As attack, he's made another pit stop as well. He's going to the medium compound tires, but yes, this is pretty much our closest battle. We've also got Chucky on the back of Contrast to pit lap 1 for the mediums. He's been on them for quite a while. Chucky on some fresh softs is going to be feeling very racy behind the Renault driver there, but we will stay with Entei for now. Entei even closer than he has been on previous laps, just a couple tenths behind Dubsy. He's really on time trial at the moment, improving each lap as he goes, a 31.3 now. Great lap from him. Nobody really able to respond to that in any sort of meaningful way, but Entei is just a couple tenths behind Tomato. He's closing on him with the DRS and the slipstream. This Force India pretty quick in a straight line, and he is going to go down the inside, but it's going to be close between them as Tomato is trying to hold it around the outside. Is the traction through 2 and 3 going to be enough for Entei? There's contact between the two of them, and actually that is Tomato who's lost a significant amount of his front wing. They just kind of came together through the exit. We didn't have the best camera angle to see really what happened there, but Entei is up and through, and Harry Tomato, he's now got to make a difficult decision. Does he pit and possibly take a set of mediums to the end, or does he stick this out on the soft compound tires for the rest of the stint? He's got Tortoise right on the back of him already, actually going up the inside. That seemed very opportunistic. Actually weaving a little bit. He seems somewhat unhappy. I don't think Tomato really saw him coming. Yes, an extremely aggressive move from Tortoise. Not the best move, to be fair there, buddy. I don't think the stewards will look too kindly on that one. Is he going to let him through? He does. So well done from Tortoise there, realizing that he maybe just got a little bit worked up and pushed too hard, and he gives the position back. So that's great to see from him, as Frio has still not stopped. Hold on a moment. Tortoise is now having yet another look down the inside. He needs to just be patient here. He needs to wait for the main straight, I think, to make this move on Tomato. He's trying to make a pass at every single corner. Here goes another one down into the final corner, and he is going to get himself ahead this time. A little bit of contact with the front wing of Tomato, but Tomato struggling with this wing damage so much. Now Tortoise is up through, and he's got a 4-second gap to close down to Entei. But yeah, Frio has been on these tires for a very, very long time. 12, sort of 13 laps now. Not quite sure if he's scared of the pit lane or something, but yeah, it's that's interesting. He might be trying to go. He might be trying a sort of super soft medium, or super soft soft possibly. If he's able to make the tires last this long, he seems to be going very slowly. I'm not seeing a puncture on his screen, but he's really dropping off the pace. So I'm not quite sure what the move is here from Frio, but Entei, his teammate, is over the back of him now, and these soft compound tires are going to be feeling much better than some severely worn super softs at the moment, as Frio actually going kind of defensive here. Oh no, he's slowing down and letting him through. That's what's going on. I don't think Entei realized it originally, and almost ran into the back of his teammate there. He's only a couple seconds behind LGB now. He needs to start and to try and catch him. I don't know if LGB is going to have the tire wear to do to do it to the end of the race on these tires. Put them on lap 8. 21 laps is a long way to go on a set of mediums. If he does do it, it'll be quite the feat, but who knows, it might be possible if he's very, very kind on his tires. So yeah, everybody apart from Frio having made the pit stop. We've had Rizek in the pits twice. I think he had some damage both times. So yeah, not ideal, as Frio does come into the pit, so we'll see what tyres he goes on to. But there we can see Dubsy with a really commanding lead out front, 13 seconds to LJB, and he's looking very comfortable at the moment. Nothing really getting in his way, and he is, you got to say, kind of cruising at the moment to a potential victory here in Bahrain. Really, I think the only person that can challenge him is LJB if he's able to hold on to these medium tyres. Speaking of LJB, Entei just starting to close in this gap slowly enough, coming down a few tenths a lap on, he's got a little bit of a tyre advantage here, softs compared to mediums, and he is looking slightly quicker at the moment. He should be on the back of LJB within the next lap or two, and for Entei, he needs to get this move done because he's got Grunting Tortoise catching him from behind. That gap was about 4.5 seconds a few laps ago. It's now 3 seconds. Tortoise with you've really got to say some phenomenal pace around this circuit today, and he's been looking in great form. Again, he's shown pace at some of the other points of the season, but connection issues kind of held him back. But yeah, he's definitely showing today he's got what it takes to be a possible podium contender. Harry Tomato, he's had enough of these, had enough of this front wing. He's coming in to get it changed, and as a set of medium compound tyres as well. He'll run to the end from here, so he'll lose a lot of positions in this pit stop, but then he'll be running all the way to the finish line with that. Guys that we also think are going to be going to the finish. Maznat is one. Frio, I think, is going to try the super soft one stop. That's a very, very aggressive strategy from him. He's clearly very kind to his tires, but yeah, I think he's going to try and make this work. Entei is just up within the DRS range of LJB now as well, and he's going to look to get this move done. He won't be too long until he pits for a second time. It'll be interesting to see whether these guys go softs or whether these guys go for super softs. If they're going another set of softs, I'd expect to see them in the pits around about lap 18. Do 2 sort of 11 lap stints on the softs. If they're all going for the supers, then it might be lap 19 or 20 to make sure that they have a tire life to get to the end and to push with. But Entei he's just half a second behind LGB now. He needs a really good final corner if he wants to be close enough to get a move done into turn 1, and that's not quite the final corner he needed. Just missed the apex, had a bit of oversteer mid corner, and that compromises traction out of the final corner there, and that's going to cost you speed all the way down this straight. So despite the slipstream, despite the DRS, he barely gained on LGB there. He just wasn't able to get the power down off of the exit, and at that point you're sort of behind for the whole straight. So Entei just half a second behind, holding it around about that 5/10 point, and with each lap goes by, it's going to come more towards LJB on the medium compound of tyres, and Entei, if he doesn't get this move done pretty much now, might find it quite difficult to get that done through the rest of the race. In terms of our sort of winners and losers at the moment, Entei's up 4 positions. He started in 7th after kind of bottling that final lap in qualifying. He had such great pace in the first run and just wasn't able to put it together in the second, but he's showing it right now in the race that he had the pace here to be competing for the podium all the way through, and he is up there in this battle. He currently sat in P3. He does have Tortoise coming behind him though, and a couple of guys he's got to worry out behind because the likes of Maznat are going to the end, I think. So these guys on the soft compound tyres are going to have to get some overtakes done in the final stint. Speaking of overtakes, LJB feeling the need to go defensive down into turn 1, and that's going to compromise his run through 2 and 3. Entei really sort of coming across the track a long way before turn 2 to open it up as much as possible to get the run down towards turn 4. Is extremely late on the brakes. He's actually locked up a little bit, and they are side by side through turn 4. Bit of wheel banging as Entei and LJB battling for the second position, and LJB gets ahead, and Entei has to back out of it. Not able to get the move done. Is he going to think about going around the outside into the hairpin? No. LJB doing well there to get the car slowed down late enough to prevent any kind of move, but Entei, for a very bold movement there into turn 4, came from such a long way back on the brakes, taking a hefty amount of curb, too much curb, has a big moment of oversteer because of it. Car just unsettled, and yeah, he's struggled to get the traction down because of it. Looking further back a little bit, we got Stylen on the medium compound of tires, and he's up on the back of Rumble, who's on the soft. So Stylen with some great pace on these tires. And let me just check, when did Stylen actually pit? He pit on lap number 8, so he might possibly make it to the end of these mediums. It's a long way to go, but yeah, Crema and Contrast side by side as well. Contrast has made his second pit stop. He had to pit lap 1 for a set of mediums. He came back in the pits. He's now got softs. He's up ahead of Crema, and he's looking to push for some decent points towards the end of this race. He's about 4 seconds behind Frio, who's on considerably older soft compound tires. Stylen is possibly on the one stop along with Maznat and LJB. These guys are very, very tight on tire wear. But here we go down into down along the main straight as Stylen is up ahead of well, is he going to be up ahead of Rumble before the braking zone? They're just side by side. Rumble once again showing with some great straight line speed like he did in China, and he holds it all the way around to the outside. San's going to have to come back towards him as Rumble just running himself off the road a little bit there through 3. Is Stylen going to get the move done into 4? He's not quite late enough on the brakes, and he just has to back out of it. As looking further up the field, we got a 3-car battle developing because Entei now he's getting a little bit stuck behind LJB, and Entei is well, Grunting Tortoise is caught up to the back of him. About 5 laps ago, 5-6 laps ago, this gap was about 4 seconds. Now we're just half a second. Quite a lot of understeer though at the double sort of the double dirty air there from the 2 cars in front, and these guys have got to be careful that they don't hold each other up too much because they have to make a second pit stop, and the likes of Maznat and Stylen behind them might well get the jump on them in the pits. We'll see if any of them come in on this lap. Race leader Dubsy has stayed out for another one. Entei or Tortoise make a move for the pits. No, they don't. So I think these guys are going to try and extend it and go for the super soft tires towards the end of the race, and no one really close enough to make any kind of move. Tortoise actually goes for extremely late on the brakes, and he goes down the inside on Entei, and that's a bit of a dive bomb, but fair enough. I think he was incredibly late on the brakes into 1 there. Entei's going to try and come back at him down towards turn 4. It's going to be side by side. Entei looking left, now looks right down the inside. He's later on the brakes. This time there's contact between the 2 of them, and the McLaren of Tortoise has almost spun it there. I don't think he has wing damage, but a bit of contact. I don't think he's going to be too happy about it as Contrast is flying in P9. He's already up onto the back of Frio, as we've also got Stylen looking at the back of Rumble once again. He's not close enough to make the move, so Contrast, he's up on the back of Frio, who's trying to pull off some absolutely wacky strategy with the super soft as Contrast maybe getting a little frustrated now behind him. A bit of a wiggle of the wheel there, but you got to say it's only going to be a matter of time between these two. Contrast is absolutely flying on these tires. Look ahead as well. Stylen, is he going to be close enough? No, not quite. Not really an overtaking place down into 9 and 10. Contrast is much wider on entry into the hairpin and gets a slightly better exit, but it's not going to be enough. Now Rumble and Stylen, yeah, Stylen is up through, so Rumble I think made a mistake on the exit. Just a bit of an error for me moving away from that just there, but yeah, Rumble has now lost the position to Stylen, who's really flying on these medium compound of tires, as Dubsy has come into the pits. Race leaders in for a set of the supers. Tortoise is boxed as well. Entei has continued. LGB has taken the lead here. How far behind is he? Dubsy is just coming out on track, and he's in P3 at the moment, so that's pretty good from him. As Stylen and Rumble comes into the pits, and he's going to go for a set of the super soft tires as well. It seems to be the most common strategy choice between these guys, as Frio has horribly missed the apex of the final corner. I think he was assuming Contrast was going to be there, but Contrast now having a great run through through the main straight, and he's all over the back of Frio, who's incredibly quick in a straight line. Look at the Force India, it's unbelievably fast along that straight. But Contrast now slightly later on the brakes, he gets the nose turned in well, and now hard on the power up through turn 2 and 3, and Contrast is up into P7. Frio struggling with his tires. I'm not quite sure that strategy call was the right one there. But now we got an interesting situation where Dubsy is coming up onto the back of our race leaders, Entei and LGB. Entei still needs to make another pit stop. It's all starting to kick off here towards the final parts of the race as these different strategies are coming together. The two stoppers and the one stoppers, and the likes of Grounding Tortoise has got quite a lot of ground to make up as well. But Entei still on the back of LGB. Surely Entei will pit on this lap, and yeah, he's surely going to make a run for it into the pits. He does, and LGB boxes as well, so LGB is actually on the 2-stop. He's realised he's not going to be able to get the medium compound tyres to the end of the race. These guys will surely both go onto the super soft tyres, and that's going to promote the likes of Maznat and Stylen possibly up into P2 and 3. Although not for long, possibly, because Tortoise is really bringing the car out on the soft compound tyres. He went last lap, and I think the other guys will be going super soft. Entei has, but LJB going for the softs as well. Will Tortoise get the undercut? He does. He doesn't just get the undercut on Entei, he gets the undercut on both of them, and he's now up into a net P4. Stylen may need to make another pit stop, although if he hasn't boxed by now, I think he'll be trying to go to the end. Looking further down the field, Tomato on the back of Crema, and Tomato having fallen back a fair way in this race is now trying to make a bit of a comeback. He's got a better exit out of 2 and 3. Now we're looking towards turn 4. He's right on the back of Crema. Is he going to throw it down the inside? No, thinks about it but doesn't actually go for it. Just not quite close enough. So yeah, Tomato on the back of Crema here, and needs to try and get the move. I'm assuming that both of these guys are going to the end of the race. Rumble as well, he's pit and put on the super soft tires. He'll be looking to find his way into the lower points of this race. Should be able to get past Chucky and then catch up onto the back of Tomato and Crema fairly quickly, as Dubsy is absolutely flying out front with a 29.9. That's a phenomenal time from him. Rumble up the inside, and he does get the move done. Nothing that Chucky can do there. Rumble's on brand new super soft tires. He's absolutely flying around the circuit at the moment. But yeah, Tomato is going to have another stab at Cherry in a moment. Just got to get the run lined up, as Crema's actually made a huge mistake out of the final corner. He's lost the rear of the car. He's put it in the wall. He's lost half a front wing. He's got a pit. So Crema was looking quite good there. He had wing damage early on. He was recovering fairly well from it, but he's had to bail out of that, and now Rumble's only got about 4 seconds between him and 9th place, and who knows, the likes of Frio might even be in trouble from Rumble towards the end of this race. He's absolutely flying on these super softs. Looking further up to another super soft runner as well. We've got Entei in 6th place, just starting to close up to LGB and Tortoise, and Tortoise, you got to see, did a great job on that undercut, got the move done on both LGB and Entei in the pits, and he's now up on the back of Stylen, who we think is going to try and stretch it out to the end of the race on these medium compound tyres. He pit on lap 8. It's fairly early as one stops go. Maznat, for example, in front, he pit lap 10. Dubsy setting another fastest lap. I'm going to a fair amount of lag off of Stylen's car here, but yeah, Dubsy into the high 29s at the moment. Those are some absolutely rapid lap times. But yeah, Grunting Tortoise is just closing up on the back, and Entei. So this group all starting to come together now. Fairly big gap back to 7th place with Contrast, but before this starts really kicking off, I'll just give you a quick rundown of how things are looking at the moment. So Dubsy in the lead out front. He's well, 14 seconds ahead. That's only going to extend further. He pulled off the two-stop strategy. He's now on the super soft tires. Contact, it was either between him and Maznat on lap 1 or Maznat and who was the car in P3? I think it was Stylen who broke his wing. Yeah, it was Stylen. So there was some contact between the front three up there, and Maznat and Stylen fell back a long way. They're pulling off a one stop, and at the moment they're trying to come back at it, but Grounded Tortoise actually made the move on Stylen through the fast S section here, and Stylen is just trying to nurse these tires to the very end of the race. He was such a long way back. I'm amazed he's actually made his way up into this position, but yeah, he's just starting to struggle in comparison to these soft runners now. And these guys on the two-stop are, yeah, they're feeling pretty racy, feeling very aggressive. As it's going to be LJB up next to have a move at Stylen and Entei behind on the super soft tires. These guys are just concertinaing together. Yeah, hard battles for them pretty much all the way through the race. The likes of Tortoise, LJB, and Entei have been together pretty much since lap 1. As LJB is just going to line this up correctly. He's got to make sure he doesn't give an opportunity to Entei behind, because if Entei gets ahead, he's just going to fly away on those super soft tires. Stylen actually almost holding on to the back of Tortoise. He's not quite close enough to have the DRS range. It really would be a sort of defensive system there. Oh, Entei, sorry, I'm not Entei. LJB fakes left, then goes right up the inside. He does get the move pretty much done into turn 1. How is Entei going to react to this? He's got a phenomenal run out of 2 and 3. Stylen perhaps just compromised slightly by LGB's line there, and Entei's going to throw it up the inside into turn 4. Surely so late on the brakes on the super soft compound tires, gets the move done, and he's up into 5th place. He's going to be chasing after LGB and trying to get himself possibly up onto that podium with Tortoise. He's got the best tires to do it on, so yeah, I think maybe in the last couple of laps the sauce might be better, but right now those super soft tires are the ones that you want to be on that 2-stop. As Rumble is now up past Tomato, they're going through turn 4. Brilliant traction from Rumble. He's on some fresh tires as well. He goes up into 9th, and he's now got a few laps to try and catch Frio, who's pulling off what is I don't know, an utterly ridiculous strategy. I'm very impressed that he's managing to string the tires out for that long, but he's gone super soft. It's kind of nuts around here, but yeah, I don't know if it's really worked for him. He's having to baby the tires so much that he can't really make the most of the softer compounds pace, but yeah, he's now got Rumble right on the back of him. He's got no tire wear, whereas he put about lap 19-20 for these super softs. They'll comfortably go to the end. Look at the traction he's got. He's right on the back of Frio, and now they're going to be coming through towards the penultimate corner. He's going to throw it up the inside. He does. Goes extremely late on the brakes. I think Frio was maybe caught a little bit off guard by that, but Rumble is up and through, and he's now weaving around. I don't know if that's a celebration weave or if he's trying to break the slipstream. It's not allowed, regardless of what it is. You are only meant to make one weave on a straight, but Frio not quite able to get a great exit through the final corner. But Entei is now looking at LGB up into turn 4. He's going to go for the sort of up and under, try and get the cutback on him. Not quite good enough on the traction though out of there, and Entei's got to settle behind LGB for a few more corners. He's got to get this move done quickly, because otherwise these super soft tires won't quite be as quick as the softs towards the very final laps. But he's holding on well. If any of these guys have a penalty, I don't think I've seen any penalty warnings pop up so far, but if anybody does get one, then that can put any of the sort of 3rd through 6th into play for a possible podium here. But yeah, Entei's right on the back of LGB. This is so close. These guys have been battling pretty much all race. We thought LGB was on the one stop, but he bailed off of it. Might well, I mean, considering he's done a sort of super soft, then medium, and then soft, I think he's having some tire wear issues, possibly. Compared to some of the other drivers like Zaventi doing a super soft, and then super soft again. He's just 3/10 behind. It's all about this final corner and getting the exit off. Little twitch of oversteer, but that's a better exit than he's had before, and now Entei's had the best opportunity I think he's had all race really to get past LJB, But look at the straight line speed from the Red Bull. He's absolutely flying along there. He goes a little defensive into turn 1. Let's Entei know that he knows what he's up to, and Entei just not quite able to really do anything. But once again, we're seeing this exit. He gets off of 2 and 3. He's so good out of those corners compared to the rest of the drivers, and he's trying to hold it around the outside once again, looking for some kind of cut back, but the traction not quite there. And this battling between these two is costing them time to Tortoise ahead, who's just starting to stretch his legs and pull away from the pair and really sort of solidify that third position. Looking in a very good place right now. Interestingly enough, Frio not really falling too far off of the back of Rumble at the moment. He's somehow, with his now about 13-14 lap old soft compound tyres, able to hold on to him. So yeah, that's interesting. I thought that Rumble would storm away, but not quite. Frio maybe turning up the engine and starting to push. He's maybe realised he's okay on tyre wear on this strategy, and yeah, he's just holding onto the back of Rumble. So maybe if Rumble falls off towards the final laps, he might have an opportunity. But once again, it's Entei looking at the back of LJB, possibly down into the first corner. He's just so close to him, and is once again getting a better exit than he did last time. He's learning every lap, and Entei is the closest he's ever been to LJB in this race. Surely going to get the move done now. It's going to have to be extremely late on the brakes. LJB goes defensive. Entei going to try and hold it around the outside down into turn 1. He's not able to get it done though. He's not quite late enough on the brakes. He now focuses on the exit of turn 2 and 3, like he has done all race, taking that sort of very tight line through 1 to open up 2 and 3. Is he going to try the inside? He does. He's so late on the brakes. He's maybe a little too late, as LJB is going to try the cut back on him. Saw that coming from a mile away, but perhaps the traction from Entei just enough. They're side by side coming through the S section, and it's just about Entei holding ahead, LGB throwing it down the inside. He just about gets the nose in front. No, not quite. Wasn't able to get the nose alongside there. So Entei up into 4th position, and that battling has let Tortoise get away from this pair. We'll see if LGB has any kind of answer. You wouldn't really expect Entei with those super soft tyres. And interestingly enough, Maznat, he's probably going to hold on to P2 here. Tortoise doesn't quite have the pace to catch him in this final stint. And from pole position to 16th to 2nd, it's been one heck of a race from Maznat here today in Bahrain. Really showing that he's got what it takes for a championship challenge. But Entei now starting to get away from LJB. LJB just not quite got the tyre grip to hold on to him. Those super soft tyres working extremely well for the Force Indias. Entei's made a huge mistake out of the final corner. Commentator's curse right there, and he's now lost the position that he's worked so hard to get. He's been trying to get this position off of LJB for the entire race. He's been, they've been battling together for the last 15 laps, and he has a huge moment of oversteer, loses the rear out of the final corner. We've seen a few drivers do that, and now he's only got 2 laps to get that position back off of LJB. He's going to be cursing himself after that one. Tomato now on the back of Frio as well, and he's got the DRS. Not really much of a slipstream though. Frio is so quick in a straight line. Tomato is later on the brakes down into 1. He gets the car slowed down nicely, hits the inside curb hard. That will compromise his exit, as we've got a car wide off on the outside. I think that's Asaplish, who's a lap down, and doing a good job to find himself, well, to get out of the way there really. But Tomato not able to get the move done, as Entei is now caught back up to LGB. He's really lighting up the rear tyres out of turn 10. Yeah, he's realised he's got plenty of tyre grip. He doesn't need to even think about conserving these, and he's really pushing the car to its absolute limit. But he's got really sort of one more opportunity down into 1, and he's perhaps a poor exit off of turn 11 has cost him some time. He's about half a second behind LGB. He's going to have to make up time through the final corner if he wants any hope of making up the distance along that main straight. Oh, another twitch of oversteer for Entei. He's got a slow car getting out of the way as well. He's he's searching for Rizek's slipstream there. Every single tenth counting at the moment. But a poor exit out of the final corner. He's just not close enough to LGB to get the move done. We'll keep an eye on that. Dubsy, we're about to see, he's in the middle sector. He's storming off to win this race in some really dominant fashion, you have to say. Would have been interesting if Maznat had been there up front the whole race. He's had some great pace, a phenomenal recovery drive from him. But Entei not quite close enough. Harry Tomato and Frio. Harry Tomato trying to make another move into one, but he backs out of it. He's just not quite close enough to get it done. Is he going to have a look down towards turn 4? He does think about it, and he's got a good exit off of the final, off of turn 3. Not quite close enough. Frio maybe running a little bit wide, but yeah, he's not close enough to get that move done. But we're going to go to Dubsy. We've not seen much of him this race. It's been his own race. It's been a classic Dubsy performance. Dominant, led after the first lap and has led pretty much the whole way. He crosses the line and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix by 22 seconds. Shame what happened to Mazdad in second place. He had some phenomenal pace here today. Great strategy, but the incident off the first lap, he started on pole, dropped 16th. He's now back up to second. Phenomenal recovery drive from him. And yeah, I think he'll be quite happy with that. Second place for him here in Bahrain. Tortoise, he's had some great pace here today. He comes home in third on the two-stop strategy. LJB will just about hold off Entei for fourth place. And yep, that stays as it is. And Stylen, another recovery similar to Maznat there. He lost his front wing and had to pit early, and he's now come back and finished in sixth place. What a great drive. Contrast as well, another one on the recovery. He comes home in 7th. Rumble in 8th. Good charge laid on from him on the super softs. Tomato has actually made his way past Frio as he takes 9th place. Frio with a bizarre tire strategy, the super soft, he actually made it work. Yeah, I don't know, might need to have a chat with him later on how on earth he managed that, but yeah, it's a great result for him on that sort of strategy, coming home in P10. I think he probably should have gone a little more cautiously on the tires, though. He might have had slightly better pace and that sort of towards the end of the stint, especially in the mid part of the race where he was on this very old super softs and lost a huge amount of time. Chucky comes home in 11th, and Crema with, you've got to say, a pretty disappointing P12. He started 11th, was in a phenomenal place on the soft compound tires, but then just lost that part of his front wing and was unable to sort of make up the ground from there. And yeah, I mean, that could have been a very, very good result if that hadn't happened. Ended up having to make an extra stop towards the end as well. But yeah, interesting race, but another classic Dubsy performance, really. You know, got out in front, and okay, there's a bit of controversy there with Maznat and Stylen. I imagine we'll hear something about that later on in the race, well, after the race. But yeah, great win from Dubsy. He did what he had to do. He managed to get the lead in lap 1 and then just stormed off and really looked to be class of the field here today, and that will extend his championship lead. Maznat with an amazing recovery drive to P2. You know, he'll be wondering what could have been if that spin hadn't occurred. Really phenomenal performance from him to get back up into second place on that one stop as well, making the one stop happen after a spin on the super soft tires. That's something. Tortoise in third, LGB fourth, Entei in fifth. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Entei looked to have very good pace today, possibly if one or two fewer mistakes and maybe you know, hooking up that final qualifying lap, that could have been a podium for him here today, but not to be. Possibly for him, he'll get that opportunity in the next time round. Stylen with some fantastic pace, qualified well, had good pace in the race, another great comeback drive, found himself in sixth, similar to Contrast really, and we've got Rumble, Tomato, Frio, Chucky, Crema, Rizek, Azatak, and Asaplish finishing the race, and then the mystery Haas that went missing, although that was the second Haas that went missing, so apologies to whoever that is. I think that may have been Jordan who DNF'd. But yeah, both Haas drivers not finishing the race. Not a great race for the team there. But yeah, I mean, once again, what a great performance from Dubsy. He will kind of extend that championship lead. That'll go up to 8 points ahead of Maznat. And yeah, those two really looking like the class of the field at the moment. And just putting themselves slightly ahead of the other drivers. They were neck and neck in qualifying, only 4 thousandths apart. And you've got to say, if that incident in the first lap hadn't happened, it would have been very close between the two of them towards the end of that race. But yeah, that was the Bahrain Grand Prix round 4 of Apex Online Racing Oceania on PS4. I'd like to thank everybody for coming along and taking part in the stream, and for watching this. It was a good race, great battling all the way through the field. If you're wanting to watch more races, then you can hop over and check out the Xbox stream is going at the same time, see what happened there. If you're wanting to watch some races tonight, then 8 p.m. UK time, we've got the European leagues, and that'll be broadcasts from PC, PS4 and Xbox. There'll be the top splits from all those platforms, and then some other races as well, some F2 and F3 races from the various platforms going on there. That'll be 8 p.m. UK time tonight if you wanted to catch more of that. Also, thank you to our sponsors, Hype Energy, obviously the sponsors of the league, as well as Elgato for helping us out with the streaming stuff. So yeah, thank you very much to them, and hopefully, hopefully the race next week can put up something similar to that again. It was a really excellent event here today. Great battling, and yeah, Dubsy taking more of a lead. I think Maznak's going to have to come up with something in Spain to pull that back, because as we saw last season, once he gets a little bit of advantage, give him an inch, he'll take a mile. But yeah, Maznak got to go back to the drawing board and find something, find something within himself to put that challenge to Dubsy there next week. So thank you all for coming along. That's a good day from me, and I hope you all have a very enjoyable Sunday.